I'm doing a training session with Kowan and Cordon, and we are going to go through the training session. And right here we see the home page. And as complicated as the home page may be, I'm actually going to go into one of the pages, and we're going to go over that first. So for example, right here is a content page. So let's go and see what that looks like on the back end. So once you're logged in, you'll come to this page, which is called the dashboard. And it just gives you an overview of what's going on. You have steps, actions. There's really nothing you need to take note of. You can add different widgets here. But what we want to do is we want to focus on the left-hand side, and we want to go to pages. And then we're going to click on all pages. So it's going to list all the pages that I've created for you for the website, and it goes according to the page name. Once you scroll over the page name, it'll give you an option, edit, quick edit, trash, or view. Please don't ever trash a page, because once it's trashed, and we won't ever be able to get it back. So I always recommend just don't have it in the navigation, or just don't have it show up. But let's not trash any pages for now. So let's go to the About Us page, and we want to edit it. So we're just going to click on Edit. So just a quick overview right now. It looks really boring, but I'll get into what each different section is. So here's your page name. This right here is what they call slug or link. So if you see right here, it has the actual link. And then you can edit the link. So if this link by chance comes up like gobbledygook or page number, whatever, you can edit it and actually name it a page. You want to give it a page name. You don't want to have it be like page number 567. Google doesn't like that. Google won't rank your page as well. So it's good to have something that says About Us, or it says something like Atlanta Top Attorneys or something like that. Okay, let's scroll down. We have right here your element or widget options. I call them widgets, they're calling them elements. It's the same thing. So once you start creating a page, this is where you will facilitate and grab everything. So let's just go over what I've created so far. Right now, this right here is the first element or the first section that we see. We have a spacer. So let's go to the page real quick. So we have like a little spacer, and then we have the banner About Us. So let's take a look at that, which is right here, About Us. In this little element right here that takes up the whole entire page, you have an option to hide and show it, edit, duplicate it, and remove it. Let's go ahead and edit it. And so here's our special heading. So this is the heading that's at the top. It's About Us, all in caps. It's an H1. Now these are your different header options. The H1 is going to be the biggest one. And then it kind of goes down from there. So H2 is going to be a little bit smaller and a different color. And you can experiment. I don't know offhand what these exactly look like, but you can go through the pages and you can just hit H2 or H3 and see what they look like. We don't have a subtitle, but if you want to put in a subtitle, I can show you what that looks like. The alignment is center. And then we're just going to go ahead and hit. I'm going to hit save so you guys can see what that subheading looks like. So I made a change here, but I'm just going to move on, and then we're going to go over what exactly has been done. This right here is the second element. So this right here would be the second element. We have a paragraph. We have 3 columns with listings and check marks. So let's see what that looks like. Again, we have a spacer because we want to space everything out very nicely. And then here is our paragraph. So we hit edit. So this is what it's going to be called a text block. And here we have a paragraph And this is actually, there's two different ways that we can view it, visual or text. So let's look at visual real quick. So there we go. So this is our paragraph that's in there. So if you need to make any changes, you can do that right here, right? And then once you make a change, you hit save. Now this is just like Word. It functions just like Word. So you can bold text. So here's your bold. You can italicize something. You can do a bulleted list. You can do a number list. You can quote. You can put things center, justify left and right. So it just works like having a Word document, which I think you guys are all pretty familiar with. If you want to highlight something and have that perhaps linked to somewhere, you can use that button right there. And then don't forget to hit save right here. I'm not going to hit save just in case I made any changes. I don't want to make any mistakes on the site right now. And then if we want to see the actual change that we made, we actually have to hit on the update button right here, and then we can view it. So let's continue on. So here's our 3 columns, and then each section or each call out has its own little element. So let's look at this. There's our edit button, and here it is. It says tax, and I actually put it in, I actually gave it a link. Here's a little HTML for you, which is not really something I want you guys to know and learn, and I don't think you guys will change it, but if you just need to change the text, you can do that here and then leave the rest of it alone. And this one is at H5. And then each different element down below is a call out. So we have an icon size, and I got my check mark. And then there's text after it. Here's your text, if you guys want to change that. So it's pretty self-explanatory. You just have to always click a little farther to see what's going on and then be able to make the changes. I'm just going to hit update right now. And then when you hit update, you always want to refresh your screen on your browser to make sure that, see, there's that change that I made. Remember that?
Okay.
So if you just keep scrolling down the page, it has everything all laid out. I don't know if you guys want me to go over every single thing, but if you find, for example, if you're looking on here, it's pretty self-explanatory, really. If you go down here and say, for example, vision, and underneath here, you need to change out that text. So let's go ahead and look for that on the page. You can kind of figure out what's going on. So here it is right here, mission and vision. So
okay.
Let's click on this one right here, this element. And then here it is. It says vision, and it's centered. And here's our text. So we can go ahead and make changes there. We hit save here. And then we always update the page right here in order to be able to see it live on the site. And if you scroll through everything, you can just see everything as it goes. Now, a couple things really quickly. The footer right here is actually added on every single page. So for example, if you want to add something to this footer, you have to do it to every single page. And unfortunately, this is the only way I was able to do it, to get it in the specs that were assigned to me. So you would have to find it on every single page and update it on every single page. And that's where it is right here. You can see the address, and then there's the logo. So see, there's the logo, and that's where it is.
So you're saying that, this is Debbie, you can't make a global change to that address at the bottom. We would have to, if we were to move, change suites or something like that, we would have to literally go to each page and make that.
Yep, you do.
Okay.
But luckily there's not that many pages, so you're a little bit in luck with that. So let's just start off with a brand new page. Say, for example, you want to span out, there's another type of business you want to advertise or whatever. So let's go ahead and hit Add New. You can hit Add New here or right here. So let's go ahead and hit Add New. And I'm going to name it something very silly. that you guys will remember it's my page and not to post it live. So there it is. So I'm going to name it Test Petra. We want to use the visual editor. So we're going to click on this visual page builder, which will give us the elements that we want. And here is the slug. See, it says Test Petra, so that's now going to be the URL. So the page is completely blank, completely blank. So what we want to do is we want to either add a template or add a pre-made section. I went ahead, so these are the pre-made sections. Like if you want to add anything like this, it's already pre-done for you. I went ahead and created a couple for you guys already. So for example, if you want to have a header,
add a new employee. Could we do that or not?
Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. Let me just see if I have set up a section for that. Oh, here it is, full template. Meet the team, service, content. Okay. All right, so you want to add somebody. I can't remember what that page looks like. So let me actually look to see what that page looks like. Okay, so we have a title, and then we have content in one column, a photograph, and then text underneath that. Okay, simple enough. So let's go over here, and we want it to be, now notice that there's columns. So there's one column, and then another column, and then a header. So let's go ahead and add one section, and that's going to be the title. And now we have to choose an element for that title. So go here and go Content Element. Now let's look for title or header. There it is right there. So we click on that, and it appears right here, but not in the section. So you click, drag, and move it into that section. Great. Now we're going to go ahead and put text in there because there's nothing really added there. Oh. Okay. Now underneath that, we have columns. And it doesn't look like it's a half and a half. It looks like maybe it might be a third and 2/3. So let's go ahead and look for that. It's just 2 columns, but I'm going to make this be a duplicate. Now notice I got 2 columns, but I want to change this to a third. So I click this little arrow right here, making this less than a half, which is now a third, and then taking this guy right here and making it 2/3. So obviously it adds up to a whole. I want to add a photograph here. So I go back to my element and I look for photo. I don't see it here because I need to be actually in media elements. And here I can add my single photo. So we can actually click drag and move that and place it in here. Now it's a little kind of funky because you have to kind of move it around. And let's go back to content element, and we're going to find text. There it is. See our text block? We're going to click and drag. And see, like if I drag it over a different element, it's going to want to try to add it there. But I want to place it in the other column. So there we go. So now I have my image and have my text, but now I need to add the content. So right here, it gives me the option to add an image. So I can go ahead and do and click. See how this is a link? Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to click the first one I see. And then I hit save. So now right here, I want to add text. So I'm just going to go right here and just kind of copy this real quickly, just so I have text to work with. And my text block comes up, and it's just like Word. I have it on my clipboard, copied, and now I paste it in there. And notice how it kept most of my spacing. It kept my font treatment as far as bold. Perfect. Love it. So now I hit save.
Now, Petra, I have a quick question.
Yes.
If in that text entry, we wanted to change the font. How would we do that?
That would be a global change, and you could, there's a place in here where you could do that, but I think admins can only do that. And then once you change the font treatment, the entire site will change to that font. So you probably don't want to pick anything too crazy. The standard fonts are Arial, Verdana. There's a couple other ones out there. So okay. You have the option to pick really crazy fonts. So you just got to be really careful, and then you have to also look at it on your phone to make sure that it reduces down that small very nicely.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go ahead and publish it. I haven't saved it yet. I haven't published it yet. That's why there's a publish button. Once I select publish, it will turn to update. Let's publish this. And I actually get my join me buttons are kind of hiding it, but right here it says preview changes. Hopefully, yeah, my join me, there we go. So I'll open up a new window and it'll give me, well, obviously that's not going to work. Remember there was a spacer there. Remember I didn't add a spacer. So here it is. I have my two columns. I have an image in one and then text in the other. Now, I made a mistake of not, this is perfect, of not putting a spacer in there. So let's go back and add a spacer. So I look for my elements. Let me see, where is my spacer? Anybody see it? I think it might actually be divided.
It's the third from the right in the top column. From the right.
Aha. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Sometimes they switch around a little bit. Okay. See how kind of you have to really fit it in there sometimes. And it wants to just move wherever it wants to go. So here's my spacer. You can do medium. You can actually do pixels. Oops, that's not how you spell pixels. If you want to do pixels, it's PX. It'll remind you right down here. I'll just go ahead and do 30. I can't remember what the other pages are. So you just do 30 and hit save, and that should solve the problem. You can hit update, and then you can see your changes. Yeah.
Isn't there some type of I mean, we would want to keep all the pages consistent. So is there not like a template that is set up for each of these employees? Because I kind of think that's probably going to be our biggest change, is adding new employees or just changing information possibly.
Right. Oh, that's a great question. I'm so glad you brought that up. So I'm going to make it super easy for you guys. So easy that you hardly have to do any work. Okay, see, remember I went over the template?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the employee page as a template. So I'll put, actually, this actually might be it. Meet the team member. So I'm actually just going to click on that. I might override everything, but that's okay. So this is it right here. So I just added it. So I'm going to actually hit update. So if you add another employee, just go to template. Just go to template. And then it meet the team. And look how all the elements already like appeared. So you're just going to have to go in and then change out the content. So I'm going to hit update, and I'm going to come to this page, and I'm going to see what it looks like. Yeah, there it is. There's your template. Of course, this is old because this content is not the same as what's on the live site.
Right.
But that's okay because here's the content. Now, remember, this is not Erin's page. This is my page. This is my test page. So I just made it super simple for you guys. All you have to do is go in here, the image, change that out, change out the content, and then change out the header.
So it'll always come up with Erin's old thing. We just have to update it to whoever is the new person.
Correct.
Awesome.
Yes. Let's go back to all pages. I'm not sure what you guys need to go over. The home page is pretty really you don't have to go on the home page. If there's anything you guys need to change on the home page, it's not actually going to be governed on the home page. And I'll explain to you why. When you look at the home page, let's actually go to the home page. You have several things going on. You have the top header, which is your logo, and then your navigation. And you have the slideshow, and then you have the bottom. Okay, let's see what that looks like on the back end. So your header and navigation will never show up on any page. That's governed somewhere else. But here's your slideshow, right? Mm-hmm. You're not actually going to make changes on the slideshow here. It just allocates this slideshow. And then remember you have the footer, so if you need to change anything on the footer. So this right here says, what slideshow do you want to use, right? So let's go over and I'll show you how to update the slideshow, if I can remember where that is. There it is. So you go to Appearance and then Sliders. Okay, so we have two different slideshows. We have one for the phone, because I had to set it up in a different way than I did the home page. And then here's the home page. So let's go to Edit. Excuse me. We have our three different images. So if you want to change out this image, the text or the photo, let's go ahead and click on it. It's not really user-friendly, like it doesn't tell, well, I guess it says right there above when you hover over, click to edit. But here's your image, and the image is set to a specific width and height. So excuse me, if you need to change this out and add a different image, just go ahead and edit. Here is what I call the image repository. So these are all the images that we can get and use, or we can upload a file. So if you want to upload a file from your desktop, you just go ahead and hit Upload Files. Okay?
Okay.
And the way that you can tell how big an image is that I can click on, for example, I think this is a slideshow, and you can tell right here on the side how big it is. So it's 141 by 150. My buttons are hiding it again. So you can tell that's how big it is and then how big it needs to be. Okay? I'm not going to actually make any changes. This right here is a bunch of code that I had to add in there for placement to get it so far down on the page. But if you want to change the text, here's the text. So just leave the code alone. And you can tell these little guys are called carrots. Just anything within the carrots, you just leave alone, and then you can just change out the text. And then here is the text below that. So let's go to the home page really quickly. So here's your header, and then there's the text below. Now the text below doesn't go from all the way from one end of the page to the other, because I have a little break in there. The BR stands for break. So there's a break in the sentence, and they're surrounded by carrots. So if you want to break up the sentence, replace this, and then after the break. I have it centered, and that is it. And if you need to save any changes, save it here down below. And then also, my buttons are hiding it again. I think there's, can you guys see there's one like right there as well. You have to save that one.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's the slideshow. So that's pretty easy, I think. The only other thing that you guys probably need to be aware of is the menu. So we have the menu right here at the top. You have plenty of room to add additional items to the menu. Let's go ahead and look at that. So underneath Appearance again, you go to Menu. So here is the menu. We have Home, About Us, and Professionals. Okay, let's look at Home, About Us, Professionals. So look at that drop down. You have a lot of drop downs. So let's look at that again. Home, About Us, Professionals, and then you have this right here, which is all indented, which to me means that it's a drop-down menu, and then Services. If you wanted to add another item on the navigation, you will first have to create that page. So go ahead and create that page, give it a name, finish that out. Now let's add it to the navigation. Oh, here it is, right here, Test Petra. So I want to add that page. So everything over on the left-hand side are the items that I can add to the right, the menu structure, which is now live on the site. So I click that, and I want to add it to the menu. It's going to automatically add it to the very bottom. So I want this to be, for example, a drop-down from services. So I just click, drag, and move that over. See how I did that? So I can move it up, down, and across, and it'll automatically ask me if I want to drop down. The same level, I have it be a main navigation item, but I want it to be a drop down from services. Okay, great. You still have to save this page once you make any changes. So save menu item, and then I need to go over here, and I actually need to refresh my browser, and there it is. The problem is that you can't add too many things onto the navigation. It could happen that it will turn into 2 lines. So if you start adding additional items, you always have to come here and double check your work, because you don't want to have the navigation on 2 different lines. Now, the other thing with navigation is that you don't want to constantly move things around all the time, because one, you'll mess Google up, right? So once you get this site up and going, Google kind of spiders everything. They're like, great, if we want to look for Aaron's page, we know exactly where to go. We know to go to kowan.com, and then we'll go to professionals, and then his page. But if you start moving things around and he's now on the main navigation, he will fall off as far as Google ranking is concerned, okay? So just a little heads up there. I don't think there's anything else. I know I went through it really fast, but there's really not that much else here that I need to go over. I don't feel. Do you guys have any questions? You guys want me to go ahead?
How do we get to this login screen where we would log into the dashboard?
Oh, I'll give you all that information once I set everybody up as an editor.
Just another quick question. I'm assuming that this particular website has not gone live yet, correct?
Correct.
Well, in looking at the screen, looking at the main screen, some of the pictures seem kind of not real clear, and the site, they kind of like back in the clouds or something. It's not really clear. Is that the way it's going to look when it goes live?
You mean on the home page?
Yes.
Yeah, the pictures just look foggy.
Yes, I have that for the reason that you can see the text.
Okay.
Well, quite frankly, I don't think you can see the text very good on some of the pages either, though.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's
it's
my
either
comment. When I first saw it, first of all, it like made your eyes kind of like feel like you were trying to focus, because the buildings looked like there was like clouds in the sky, or it was just really foggy. And then some pages you cannot, like on this particular page under innovation, that text is not very clear to me as well.
Okay, well, since this is a design issue,
that page you got it on right now, the text looks great, but the picture still is, it's like it's not focused. I guess that's the best word. It's not a really focused, clear picture.
Okay, so since this is a design issue, let's go over this after the call. I wouldn't want to right now focus on the training. Is there anything as far as like how you guys want to update the site, adding pages, elements? Is there anything that you guys need me to go over real quick or review?
Erin kind of gave me a list to ask you.
Okay.
If you don't mind too much.
No, not at all.
Obviously, you went over how to change content and everything. What about changing like the formatting of the content, like text and stuff? If we wanted to change like the text of the home, about us, professional services, and things of that nature, how would we go about doing that? If we wanted to change it from, I think it's Arial right now, for instance, or that's a great, on the About Us, because About Us, I believe, is in Times New Roman or something of that nature. And then the paragraph was in Arial, and then underneath it was in Times New Roman again. And we just want to change it so that it's uniform across.
Okay. Yeah, let me show you how to do that. I'm just getting rid of that little gobbledygook. That's what I call it.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go to Appearance, and let's go to Theme Settings. And I'm only going to give one of you guys admin access if that's what you want. But having admin access is a little dangerous because once you make a change and you feel like you've messed up, you know, that's it. The editors won't be able to go in and, I believe, see this. Only the admin can.
Okay.
So just being aware of what you're changing and how you're changing it. It's a little risky for me because a lot of times people come back and say, oh my gosh, I made a change and I can't change it back. And so I have to go in and spend time fixing it. So,
right.
But if Erin wants you to have admin access, I will give it to you. But underneath the context of just be aware of what you're changing,
right.
you know. Okay. So this is the core, or what governs everything.
Okay.
Okay. So if you go to Appearance and then Theme Settings, we have all these below. We have General, Post, Pages. Okay. So let's go to General. So we have a site background. It's a little off-white. Here's your logo. If you want to replace that, just hit Edit.
Okay.
Content, Destiny, it's just cozy. I don't know what that means. I never play around with that. If you want to come to Pages, we have the header image right here, so you can change that to anything you want. I guess it's all pretty much the same right now. We have alignment at center, and I think that fits for that. Header. So this is the header colors. And actually, since we're using an image, none of these will show up, so it doesn't really apply. We're not using footer because it didn't work how Erin wanted this site to be set up. And then we have colors. So these are the color palettes. So if you want to change everything that appears in blue right now, like all the text or, excuse me, I just need,
bless you.
these are the colors. These are the link colors. So if you want to change the blue to, like, I don't know, red, just type in red. Or actually, I don't think it works that way, but here you go. Here's red. Right? So if you want to make your links now be red, you can make it red. But I'm going to change it back because that's not really what I want. And then here are your button colors. Typography. So here's your H1, which is your main header at the top. So I believe this right here is your H1. So if you want to change this to Verdana, you can do that right here. And then here's your size, your weight, and you can change it for all these. So I think, for example, like I think this right here, let's look at it. I think those might be an H3. Where is it?
I'm having flashbacks to MySpace.
MySpace. It's not showing up because it's not big enough. There we go. So it's not showing me what header it is. Let me see, where is it? Oh, it is right there. It's an H5. Okay, there it is. So it's the H5. So here's your H5. So, well, it's supposed to be blue. And then there's your Times New Roman. So if you want to change everything here. But also remember that on every single individual page, you can override these settings by having your own settings. You don't have a blog. Here are your headers. Here's your header. We're not using footer. You're not using forms. So let's slide back to the top. You have custom CSS, which I advise you not to even touch. I do have some custom code in there, so I wouldn't mess with that. But let's go back to, excuse me. So if we go to About Us, you can actually override those general settings on every single page if that's what you want to do. So say, for example, right here for his paragraph, I can go in here and I can do settings for styles. So I can actually override that. And so right now it says Quadro Sans. So that's what, if you want it to be Times Roman, you can start typing it in and it'll show up. See, there it is right there. So this is actually overriding the general settings.
Okay.
What page was I on? About Us. So that's right here. So that's that Quadro that I was telling you. And then here's Times New Roman, and there's Times New Roman. That was a good question. Is there anything else that you guys feel that I need to go over or review, or? Did Aaron have any other specific questions?
He had a list. So
sure, let's knock them out.
If we wanted to change, I think you had just mentioned it, but change the margins of the pages. So for instance, on this page, if we wanted to extend that box that About Us is sitting in to the edges of the screens, is that something that we could do or no?
What I have used so far and what I'm working with, and I've already told him this, no, you cannot.
Okay.
If there's some special code that he wants to add, that's fine. But right now, for what I'm using, no.
Okay. We've already gone over add or change pictures. So I know we have the mobile site for on your phone versus your computer. If we were to, say, change the font of this Cowan and Cordon is a boutique law firm in Midtown on the page, would that automatically populate to the mobile version?
Yes. Change you make on the site will happen on the mobile. The only difference is that the slideshow right here has its own slideshow because of the way it's positioned, and I can show you that.
Okay.
So you just take your browser right here if you want to see the mobile version. I'm trying to actually get it small. So this is your mobile version. Of course, you're going to probably see only about like that much. So here's your, what he calls hamburger, which is your navigation. Of course, this black stuff is just because I'm logged in. You will not see this black bar at the top. So this is exactly how it shows. So see how it looks a little different than it does on the
blown up
site. So, yeah. There you go. So that's the only difference is the slideshow.
Okay. All right. And then we've already covered adding new pages, and we've covered changing if we wanted to change the slide content. So that's my list.
Well, great. That sounds like we covered everything. That's awesome. Well, I'm going to stop recording unless you guys have any other questions, because please ask them now.
I just have one question. This is Debbie. Is there anything on the site or anything in any of the materials that you offer that's kind of like a how-to, or where we could search for the answer to how to do something?
Well, I'll always come back to this training video. If we didn't cover it in this training video, then it's probably something without the scope of the site that is not already set up. So I really don't know what else I can offer you. I mean, the training is really your go-to. There's literature out there. There's YouTube videos out there.
When you say YouTube videos, is there like a YouTube video that we go to, put your site, how to extract a page or how to add a new employee, and we would find it out there?
No, that's where you would come to this training video that I'm going to supply you, because I feel like that's a good way for you guys to rehearse what you guys have gone over today, practice doing it, and then implement it.
Is that the way most of your clients work? Is that the way they do it? Or do you have any clients that send you or email you changes that they want to update at a certain price?
All my clients get a training video, and if it's something that they can do and they have access to, and it's something that we went over in the training video, they're able to do it themselves. If they don't want to do it and they want me to do it, yes, I will charge you or them an hourly rate.
Okay.
If it's something that's out of the scope, again, but we can talk about that after the training, if there's anything that you guys want to have done.
Okay.
Well, it sounds like I've covered everything. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and it's going to take a while for it to download. Let me see.